Welcome to Friends with Northpoint. I'm Joe Jarrett. This is my good friend Kevin Cross, who's a certified public accountant here in the Roswell area. Kevin and I have known each other for a long time. Kevin runs a great business. We're not only friends, but we've got some good business relationships as well. He's also my personal public accountant, certified public accountant as well. And Kevin, what's happening, man? Tell us a little bit about yourself. What's going on?
Well, what an honor. I'm Kevin Cross. Actually, I'm a big fan of Joe Jarrett, Northpoint Mortgage, real big fan. And honored to be your CPA. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that unless you say it first, but there we
Well,
are.
I disclosed it.
There's no privilege there any longer. But it's so good to be here. And yeah, we go way back. I love to hear your voice on the phone. I often say to you when you call me, if you just call me on Mondays, it's like orange juice and sunshine. And you go, okay, maybe I'll do that. All right. I go, not too early though.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But yeah, you and I, you've obviously got a pastoral background as well. You and I met over at Fellowship Bible Church when you were on staff there and started working together on some Dave Ramsey type stuff. You and I are the kind of guys that, we love to help people get out of debt. I always joke and say, yes, I do sell debt, but I do like to help people, get out of debt as well too. So, and you've always been kind and, referred clients my way. And of course I, try to do the same and send clients your way as well. But, what are you seeing in the market from a tax and a real estate standpoint?
Well, good debt and bad debt. And we did help a lot of people. As a matter of fact, just one little story about you. Can I take 5 seconds? This is free. When I met Joe, I asked for volunteers.
I'll pay you later if I need to.
You got it. Well, I asked for volunteers, and of course, getting volunteers is like herding cats. But Joe was the first to volunteer, and I said, Joe, tell me about your background. He said, well, I just want to help. And I said, all right, so I have people that I would love for you to just walk with, to mentor, to do some financial coaching, budget counseling, essentially. And he met with one person for a long time. And that person's life was completely turned around, changed. And amazingly, kind of talking about coming full circle, that person ended up being able to buy their first house. And amazing what those humble beginnings with you helping that person get out of debt and live below their means and live on a budget and save, they were able to buy their first home and get their first mortgage. And so I would say we just diagrammed good debt and bad debt, and you helped that person have a home before the home values skyrocketed. So it's never too soon to learn these principles and to be able to do what you do. Anyway,
Well,
that's just me bragging on you just a tad.
Well, thank you. That's very thoughtful. But it's like any situation. You go in and you think you're helping them, and they're actually helping you. Here was a lady that was single mom. She had been homeless at one time. Was working 2 jobs, and just really, one of those people that you want to fight for, because she was, raising her grandchildren, and so that was really kind of cool to see her come full circle, to see where she was to where she is today. And she's one of my favorite people. I just love seeing her big old smile, whenever I run into her at Sprouts or Elkins Point Middle School, or just the different places that she works. So.
Well, last time I ran into her, she ran up to me and she said, "This hug belongs to Joe, so give it to him." And she gave me a bear hug, and it was pretty spectacular. But one last thing. I know we're taking too much time. People aren't tuning in to watch this. But one last thing. You remember that one time you told me you're sitting in the pew and you were sitting with her, and it was a typical church service, and our people who are watching know what that feels like, and they're passing the offering plates, and everybody gets that kind of weird feeling, like, uh-oh, what do I do? Well, this woman, she put in her little giving, and when you described how that made you feel, I never forgot that. You want to elaborate?
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. It was one of those things where, like I said, you think you're blessing somebody by helping them out, and you're the one that's actually being blessed. And and I knew this lady's financial situation because I was walking with her, and just to see her, she showed me what it looked like to be a sacrificial giver, and I've never forgotten that. And I had a tremendous amount of respect for her already, but after seeing that, I was like, wow, this lady's pretty special. So it was pretty cool. It's I've been fortunate. I've been able to work like you have with just a lot of great people and a lot of great clients over the years, and just getting to know people and their backgrounds and where they came from. Because you and I like to joke. I mean, as long as you and I've been around, if you've been around long enough, you got enough mileage on you. Everybody's been through something. So so it's just it's cool. And you've got, obviously, we could be here for hours, talking about, you've got a pretty incredible story. You've authored a few books.
I've been obviously, blessed to have been brought through a lot of good things seen in my life, and maybe even more blessed to get through the hard areas, the hard times. Thinking back to this single mom and the widow's mite, these are the moments where we take them forward into our careers. What we're doing right now, I'm practicing accounting again. I hung my shingle, so to speak, and had a boutique practice in Florida for 17 years, and then went into to ministry, but now back on the front lines.
Yeah.
They say, I'm from Miami, but now I'm in Atlanta, and they say, correct me if I'm wrong, but they can say you can take the boy out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the boy.
Right.
So I'm back on the front lines. And you know what? I've realized that there's more impact we can make on the front lines in the business place, doing what we do, using our skills. And that's exactly what you did back when I met you, 13 years ago. Remarkable.
Well, I think we're just two guys that we enjoy what we do, and we're grateful to be able to do those kind of things. One thing I always know about you is, there'll be times where I'm, driving home about 7:30, and and I drive past your office, and I'll pop in there, and Kevin's hard at work, man. I mean, he's just in there.
Lights are on.
Lights are on, and you're just cranking out those returns. And the funny thing, it's a joke, but it's hard to find a good CPA with a good personality. You know what I mean? And and sometimes.
Well, yeah, my brother and I got in narrowly.
Maybe that's a strong
narrowly.
statement, but
it's a tough profession, just like the mortgage business.
Sure.
With the economy, with lots of competition, and like Northpoint, as you do well, as you do good by your customers, you're going to do well. You're going to bring prosperity to them because they're going to be able to have their financial dreams met. And I know that's a colloquialism we don't talk much about. It sounds a little strange, but that's what you do. You say, hey, look, this is what you're trying to accomplish, and what's your long-term goal? So this would be good, or maybe this is not the right thing. And those are stories we don't talk about, how you say to somebody sometimes, hey, this is probably not the best idea. And what that does, it takes money out of your pocket.
Right.
That's what I love about you. You put the person first. And that's why I love referring to you.
Well, I appreciate that, and I feel the same way. I not only know that if I send somebody you're not only going to do a great job for them, but you're also going to make them feel good too. You've got that approachable spirit to where you're easy to talk to and easy to ask questions to. And sometimes when you're dealing with professionals, it's not always like that. To where you're like, okay, is it okay if I ask this guy this question, or he seems like he's pressed for time? I mean, you seem like you always have time and you're always available. And those are the things that I appreciate.
Well, now, like you, I kind of have a boutique style practice, which means I don't have as many clients as I used to. So I'm able to sit down with a client and say, hey, look, you have my undivided attention. And it works because I think that's where people are going. We do the whole drive-through, we do the whole internet thing, and it's very non-personal. But I'm kind of old school.
Yeah.
And like you, where you sit down with a client, you talk to them, you go, okay, let me tell you what's hot right now. And let me give you a couple. Code section 121A. And I throw that out there, and people go, what the heck? He's now starting to bore me. But I say, wait, 121A is the greatest code section for you. And they go, why? Because you can buy a home and allow it to appreciate in value. And if you've lived in it 2 out of the last 5 years as your primary residence, you can sell it and make $500,000 profit being a husband and wife and not pay 1 cent of tax on it. And then they say, well, wait, what do you mean? What if I'm single and I'm, how much can I make? I tell them $250,000. And they say, what do you mean? You mean if I sell my house that I bought for $200,000 for $450,000 and I'm a single person, I don't have to pay 1 cent of tax? I go, absolutely. They say, what's that code section one more time? And so that's what's beautiful right now. Every person can kind of like say, wait, there's something in the tax code for me. And what our jobs are is find the relevant areas for people to really focus in on.
I know. I mean, you're getting me excited just sitting right here. I'm sitting here thinking, good night. I mean, that's the fun part about dealing with somebody like you is, you're gonna, it's hard to make taxes fun sometimes. You know what I mean? What is it? Death and taxes. Those are the only two certainties in life.
That's true. That's true. You want to make one fun if you can't make the other one fun.
Right. Exactly. Or at least put people in a position to where when, they do pass, it doesn't create a tax burden for their heirs and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So, and that's the great thing about, dealing with somebody like you is you're a long-term relationship. One thing I love about, if something ever happened to me, my wife Wendy, she knows from a tax standpoint, I'll call Kevin. She may not know what she needs to ask, but she'll say, okay, I gotta call Kevin, and you're great too, because you not only, you can be a part of somebody's team to where, it's like Kevin's the tax guy, so-and-so's the financial planner, so-and-so's the insurance agent, maybe Joe could be the mortgage guy, and then that family has a team to kind of walk them through, the ups and downs in lives and the changing in the seasons and just the different things that happen. People buy houses, people have kids, people downsize, kids go to college, just all the different ways to navigate through life. So I'm grateful that I can be on some of those teams with you. That makes it a lot of fun.
And I think back in the day, I think of Oscar Schindler from Schindler's List, a fantastic movie, a fantastic man. But he said, there's 3 things in life you need: a good doctor, a good lawyer, and a good accountant. And he says, but all I need is a good accountant. But back in the day, that person did it all. And so what you're describing today is what the financial professional should be able to do, but can't, because it's a multidisciplinary sport.
Right.
And if you want to be good at all things, you're not going to succeed at being good at anything. And so having those people on your team from I call myself a bean counter. I know it's derogatory, but you need a bean counter. You need your financial guys.
But you want a fun bean counter.
Exactly. You want a fun bean counter. But now that is the new rendition of what Oscar Schindler's saying. You need this team. And it's probably not going to be encapsulated in one person, because one person can't do it all. And that's why I'm so glad that you are part of that financial team. And more people understanding that, light bulb goes off and they go, yes, these are the people on my financial team. It's not just one.
Well said. Well said. Well, you got anything else you want to share with us? Anything else that's going on in the tax world?
Big. Let me tell you, everybody's buying property, as you probably know. As a matter of fact, you tell me, because you're the guru. And I see a lot of good people not only buying primary residences, but they're buying additional homes or condos or things that they might say, this might be a vacation home, it might be a rental home. And all of a sudden, you see them, hey, I'm going to put it on Airbnb, Verbo, or I'm going to buy another one. I really like this. And often they're going to be able to say, wow, I'm depreciating it for the first time. I don't even understand that concept because it's appreciating. And I get to take off this phantom deduction called depreciation. The IRS calls depreciation and all my expenses. And it looks like I'm actually able to show a loss when I'm making a profit. Oh my goodness, this passive living, passive of a lifestyle of having passive income is pretty great. So then they say, well, what happens if I buy another property? Because once I do a tax return and say you make too much and you can't take off your losses from your rental property, it makes you feel like, wow, that's not fair.
Right.
Well, there's something called a real estate professional, and it's under this code section 469. And I don't want to throw another one at you, but if you're going to remember two things from this video, 121A and 469.
All right.
469 will allow the taxpayer to call themselves a real estate professional if they are able to meet some tests. Well, I'm finding out that I have several clients, actually we have mutual clients, that meet the definition and they'll be able to deduct all of those losses. Booyah, mic drop. Let me tell you what that means for people's tax returns. It could mean the difference between them owing thousands of dollars and getting thousands of dollars back. So that's what we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
Because of multiple home ownership. People are buying properties. It's wonderful, and I hope it just continues because people are going to be able to deduct some great expenses that, and it's wonderful.
Well, and it makes me think, I heard this a long, long time ago, and I've never forgotten it, but I was sitting in I was sitting in a continuing ed class or something where the guy said, he said in life, he said, it ain't what you make, it's what you keep. And I think that, when it comes to taxes, that's huge, because at the end of the day, it's all about, what do you keep? So, what's in the bottom line? And, you don't want to have to give more to the government than you have to, because as we all know, we give plenty to the government, and anytime you can minimize, those tax liabilities, you're putting yourself in a better financial position. So,
without a doubt, there's they call it the IRA, or the this brand new tax law that was just passed as effective August 16th of 2022, the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. I believe that's the name of it. Actually, is going to. It's kind of a little scary, 80,000 IRS agents to audit tax returns over $400,000. Let me just put it in perspective. There's not that many tax returns over $400,000. And when you couple it with 80,000 IRS agents, what I can tell you is that you or your friends or somebody will guarantee be audited. All right, so let me say that one more time. If that's you and you're making more than $400,000, or if you know somebody who does, and they have 80,000 new IRS agents, either you or that person has a very, very, very good chance of being audited.
Which is why they need someone like you in their corner.
Right. And so what if by structuring your tax affairs, and it reminds me of the Judge Learned Hand from the 1800s, he said, no man has any obligation to increase their taxes. As a matter of fact, we have no obligation whatsoever to do that. So as to arrange our affairs to lower our taxes actually is
Prudent.
being a good patriot even.
Right.
So we owe it to ourselves to make sure we're noodling these things. First time ever last year, more tax returns were prepared online through the tax cut, the TurboTaxes of the world, than prepared by professional preparers. First time last year. It was like 51%. So we see that trend, and many tax returns can be done this way. But it's like a DIY, doing your house. There's a lot you can do.
Right.
But me, I don't know if I can do the construction and put up some walls at my house, and you won't be able to tell that a bean counter did it rather than somebody who has a mastery in construction.
Right. Yeah. And I've learned, some things in life just aren't plug and play. And I feel like taxes is one of those areas that it's just, and I recognize, if someone's just, a W-2 person and, they're situation's not that complex, But yeah, I learned, many years ago, I'm like, you know what? It's time for me to let the professionals do it. And that way, if I do get a phone call or something like that, at least I've got an advocate on my side, from the IRS. I've got an advocate on my side, or a letter, I guess, of saying, okay, this is our situation, help me navigate through this.
Exactly.
So,
Well, it's like being in the mortgage business. A lot of times, people can go, look, I just went online. What do I need, Joe? What do I need, Northpoint? You know what? It's all the same. Often I have clients come in, I go, oh, so you refinance or you got a new mortgage. So how did you do it? Who was your mortgage broker? Oh, well, we just went online. I said, oh, wow, okay. Do you mind me sharing some things that I don't think Northpoint would have done that would have been beneficial to you? I mean, it's really tough when you tell somebody that because you can't go back.
right,
The toothpaste is already out of the toothpaste tube.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
it is what it is. I don't want to make anybody feel bad, but I do want to show them that, hey, these are things that you would not have done. Or how could you get into a mortgage like this? Well, online they said I could qualify. Wow. And I think that's where we're going as a society, and that works for a good segment.
But again, not everything's plug and play.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I agree.
It's like, you remember when we thought that there'd be books not, on paper, because we'd be Kindling and stuff. Well, now, this past year, more books have been produced since like 10 years because people are getting back to it. There's something about this personal attention. We can't just get everything from from the proverbial multivitamin.
Right.
We might have to exercise, and we might have to eat well.
Yeah.
And that's who Northpoint is to me.
Thanks again for taking time out of your day to watch Friends with Northpoint. Hope you enjoyed my special guest, Kevin Cross. We're looking to have guests like him in the future as well. And we look forward to seeing you next time.